After my 3 rivals lost their memories, I tricked them into coming home to be my wives. I cooked soup for her, fed her meals, and even warmed the bed and slept beside her. She thought I loved her deeply, but in reality I secretly took over all her business behind her back. Just as I was secretly gloating, I accidentally overheard her on the phone in her room, her tone both coquettish and furious. Give him a bit more business. He didn't even sleep with me last night. When the female assistant found me in Oak Creek, I had just regained my memories 5 minutes earlier. She knelt down and grabbed my leg, crying, "Mr. Lin, you're still alive." Suddenly a woman dressed in revealing clothes rushed out of the house and kicked her over, shouting, "Who said you could touch my husband's leg? Stay away from my husband." Blair had a beautiful delicate oval face with legs that were fair and straight. Her fair collarbone was covered in suspicious kiss marks and scratches. The female assistant's mouth gaped wide. "MMS Blair." Blair shot her a fierce glare, then turned to me, her eyes instantly softening into a gentle obedient gaze. "Honey, don't be afraid, I won't let this wicked woman bully you. And honey, why does she keep calling me General Blair? Is she out of her mind?" Seeing that I remained silent, Blair grew anxious. She stepped closer to me, looking like a pitiful little puppy, wrapped her arms around my waist and lightly brushed her cool lips against my chest, whispering softly, "What's wrong?" Her lips were cold, yet they felt hotter than molten lava to me, and I instinctively pushed her away. Blair stumbled back 2 steps from my push, her beautiful face frozen in shock, her eyes wide with disbelief. Her eyes even reddened as she choked out, "Honey, you pushed me, you actually pushed me for this wicked woman." The female assistant nearby had already fainted from fright. "Yeah, I can understand her. 5 minutes ago I woke up in bed with Blair lying beneath me, her face flushed, slender arms wrapped around my neck, pouting her red lips as she leaned in for a kiss that was even harder to accept than seeing my own mother, so I fainted from shock too. I'd never admit it, but Blair's lips were too soft and sweet, and the kiss left me dizzy. After Blair finished yelling at me indignantly, she stormed back to her room in a huff. The female assistant slowly came to looking at me with a terrified expression. "Mr. Lin, have you and MS Blair both been possessed?" Can't blame her for asking. When it comes to the relationship between Blair and me, everyone in Metro City knows about it. The Lin and Bai families have been rivals for ages. As heirs, we're epic-level adversaries, not to mention we were born on the same day and grew up in the same compound as kids. We used to compete in school, now we compete in business. Wherever we run into each other in Metro City, sparks fly. If we're drinking at a bar and one of us misses a single drop, we'll sue to make the other admit defeat. This time Blair and I had come separately to inspect the company's new project. A landslide struck Oak Creek during a heavy storm. Our cars collided, we both got injured and lost our memories. The villagers mistook us for a married couple and put us in the same room. The worst part, we slept together. Damn it, I'd kept my virginity for 26 years. I'd meant to save it for my future wife, but I ended up giving it to that wicked enchantress Blair. Thankfully fate was on my side. I regained my memory before she did. She's still foolishly calling me husband. Well, if that's how it is, don't blame me for being ruthless. I didn't go inside to placate the angry Blair. After thanking the villagers, my female assistant and I prepared to leave. Just as we reached the car, I saw Blair standing there with a frosty expression, a brick in her hand. I frowned. "What are you doing?" As soon as Blair saw me, her eyes welled up with tears. "Husband, are you running off with some other woman?" Her gaze shifted to my assistant. She narrowed her beautiful eyes dangerously. "Since you're stealing my husband, I'll have to take care of you." The assistant's legs went weak with fear, nearly wetting herself. Even with amnesia, the arrogant young lady's nasty nature hasn't changed. I rolled my eyes, stepped forward, wrapped my arm around Blair's slender waist and planted a quick kiss at the corner of her lips. "Be good, dear. Who said I was running away? You've misunderstood." Blair stiffened, looking up at me. "Then where are you going with her?" I met her clear, innocent gaze and softened my tone to coax her. "She's just the driver here to take us home. Back to our home, dear. I've remembered everything now. We have a home in the city. I handle the outside world, you manage the home. I earn money and handle business. You cook and take care of the house. Let's go home now and sleep together in a big bed every night, okay? This hard plank bed here is killing my back. It's even uncomfortable for that." Speaking of which, this smooth-talking ability of mine was honed back in high school when Blair frantically reported my early romance, now throwing this boomerang back at her. She should believe it, right? Sure enough, as soon as I finished speaking, there was a clatter. Blair dropped the brick in her hand. She wrapped her arms around my waist, stood on tiptoe and kissed me. "Hubby, you're so good." "I misunderstood you, Blair," and I kissed passionately, the warm ambiguous sound of our lips and teeth mingling filling the air. This girl, even with amnesia, why is she so obsessed with kissing? I really should capture her infatuated expression while kissing me now so I can tease her about it for the rest of her life. I gestured to the female assistant nearby, signaling her to sneak a photo, but she was already stunned. Her shocked and horrified expression was no less intense than seeing Xiao Yanzi and Erkang locking lips. At the hospital corner, the female assistant cautiously said, "Mr. Leo, are you sure this is a good idea? What if MS Blair suddenly regains her memory?" Blair is someone with a model's body but a ruthless heart. Her methods are vicious and she never forgets a slight. In Metro City, aside from me, no one isn't afraid of her. If she recovers and finds out I've been deceiving her like this, she'd probably go mad trying to destroy me, but I won't give her that chance. Leo, am not some man she can just sleep with and forget. I sneered coldly. Before she regains her memory, I'll make sure she's utterly defeated. We just completed a series of brain scans for Blair. The doctor said if she hasn't regained her memory by now, the recovery period could be quite long. I laughed heartily. Good. The longer the better. Perfect timing for when the Bai family's company goes bankrupt. After leaving the hospital, I got a call from the corporation saying that a major international client would arrive in Metro City tonight. I knew they were here to discuss the global project with Blair, and this client happened to be my longtime campus crush. Previously I nearly sealed the deal but Blair interfered and ruined it halfway. Now this is my chance for a stunning comeback. I changed into a white shirt that accentuated my toned muscles, perfectly concealing my scheming mind. As soon as I stepped out of the fitting room I bumped into a soft figure. A charming voice chimed, "Wearing such a figure-hugging outfit, who are you dressing up to see?" Delicate slender hands crept up my back, sending a tingling sensation straight up my spine. I jolted, squinting over at her only to meet Blair's beautiful eyes fixed on me. In that instant it felt like the mischievous, enchanting Blair had returned. My heart wavered with unease, but Blair's hand had already found the buckle on my back, her palm suddenly pressing down with force. The strange mix of pain and pleasure made me flush with both shame and irritation. I slapped her wandering hand away. "What are you doing? Get your hand off." Blair's hand froze, her alluring eyes quickly drooping. Her tone sounded deeply wounded. "Husband, you actually hit me. I knew it. You're starting to dislike me now that I've lost my memory. You earn money, have such a beautiful assistant by your side, and even let her hug your leg. Meanwhile I just stay at home causing trouble for you. I don't even have the right to touch my own husband anymore. Maybe it's time I quietly leave." As she spoke she choked back a sob, making as if to rise and leave. Her pretty delicate face was shadowed with despair, as if she were about to shatter. For a moment I even felt like a complete beast. Besides, she couldn't leave now. My plan hadn't even started yet. I gritted my teeth, threw caution to the wind, and grabbed Blair's hand again, placing it on myself. "Honey, what nonsense are you talking? Here, touch as much as you want." Blair instantly shifted from sorrow to joy. She didn't hold back at all, closing her palm and wrapping her other arm around my waist. She pulled me down onto the sofa, her lips replacing her hands, my fingers tangled in her long hair as I gasped, "Honey, you'll accompany me to the banquet tonight, but you have to wear earplugs the whole time." Blair teased. "Why earplugs?" I explained. "Well, the doctor said you need to limit exposure to external noise for now, so no TV or phone." With Blair having so many dubious friends in Metro City, cutting off her contact with the outside world was crucial. I was about to add something else when the next second I heard a ripping sound. Blair had torn open my custom-made white shirt just as I was about to get angry. Her soft, pitiful voice drifted up from my abdomen. "Honey, I accidentally tore it. I know I'm useless. You won't blame me, right?" I held back my temper. That evening I arrived at the banquet with Blair a full half-hour late because my upper body was a mess of scratches. Afraid the red marks she'd clawed into me would show through, I had to change into a loose black shirt. My original plan was to wear something that showcased my masculine muscles and charm to utterly bewitch the goddess. Now it was all ruined, damn it. I shot a fierce glare at the woman beside me. "Little witch, biting me like this? Are you a dog? Just wait until I bankrupt you, then I'll buy you home as a maid and whip you every day with a lash dipped in chili sauce." Blair was wearing noise-canceling earplugs, her gaze toward me clear and innocent since she couldn't hear anyway. I cursed freely. Just then a major client from the overseas conglomerate came over to greet us. None other than the goddess I'd admired back in college. I immediately flashed a handsome smile. Summer, long time no see." Summer smiled sweetly. "You've gotten even more handsome." Her gaze then fell on Blair beside me. She was quite surprised. "Isn't this President Blair? I've been trying to reach your phone but couldn't get through." Blair showed no reaction at all. "President Blair." Summer politely extended a hand toward her. I quickly took her hand, instantly slipping into character, and sighed. "Junior, you don't know this, but President Blair has gone deaf. She fell into the water while having boat sex with a male celebrity on the river, which messed up her brain. Now she has meningitis and the Blair family abandoned her. At the moment she's homeless and only I, out of the kindness of my heart, have taken her in. Look, she now thinks I'm her dad and won't let go of me." As I spoke I secretly pinched Blair from behind. This was our agreement on the way here. To help me earn money for the family she had to smile at anyone whenever I pinched her. Sure enough, Blair immediately flashed a smile at Xia Weiran. Xia Weiran was shocked, never expecting President Blair to have suffered such misfortune. "It seems the project our company was discussing with President Blair will have to be put on hold for now." I jumped in without missing a beat, curling my lips into an inviting smile. "Well, that's perfect. Our Lin Corporation can take over. I've already prepared the proposal and contract. Junior, are you free tonight? Let's have a drink and chat, just the two of us." Before I could finish, Blair, who was holding my arm, suddenly tightened her grip and pinched me. She tilted her head to rest on my chest, murmuring, "Husband, I feel so dizzy." Xia Weiran was taken aback. "What did she call you?" I gritted my teeth inwardly. "She said laborer." "Yeah, she's out of her mind. Probably thought I was a hotel laborer." Xia Weiran nodded, half understanding. I wanted to hand Blair over to the female assistant behind me, but Blair clung to me tightly. Husband, I feel so awful. Am I going to die?" If this went on, the act would be blown. I had to pause my late-night invitation with Xia Weiran and take Blair to the lounge to sort things out. As soon as we entered I pushed Blair onto the sofa bed. She tried to kick me but I grabbed her ankle. "Blair, still pretending, are you?" I was testing her. After all, her earlier behavior was off. In the corporate war you always have to stay cautious. But Blair curled up on the sofa, her slender frame trembling, genuinely seeming unwell. "My head hurts. My head really hurts. Husband, where's my husband? Are you abandoning me?" Honestly, her face was just too beautiful. No matter what expression or gesture she made, it could stir anyone's heart. The allure of a woman truly leads one astray. I took a few deep breaths, considering she really was a patient. I didn't want anything to actually happen, and reached out to touch her forehead. "I'm here. Does your head hurt badly?" Hubby, rub it for me, okay?" She hummed, her slender fingers clutching my clothes as if afraid I'd leave. I couldn't shake her off, so I sat down to massage her temples. As I kept pressing, Blair leaned into my arms, tilted her face up, and kissed me. In my daze I thought I heard my phone vibrate and tried to reach for it, but Blair's suddenly deepened kiss trapped me. When the kiss ended I grabbed my phone again but found no messages. Blair had already fallen asleep hugging me pinned under her. I couldn't move. I texted my assistant but she didn't reply. Closing my eyes I drifted off to sleep as well. A phone call jolted me awake. As soon as I answered my assistant's urgent voice came through. Mr. Lin, your junior said she couldn't reach you by message. She had no choice. She's already signed with White Group. I was stunned. Messages? Impossible, I didn't receive any. I paused mid-sentence recalling the phone vibration I felt during the kiss and turned my head sharply. The space beside me was empty. The woman who had been sleeping on my chest was gone. Well you little Blair, huh? Sleeping, touching, kissing endlessly and now pulling a double cross on me. I hung up the phone seething with anger as I yanked at my tie and stormed out of the room. I hadn't taken more than a few steps when I saw Blair standing in the second-floor hallway tangled up with two male celebrities. I let out a cold laugh and strode over grabbing her arm. Blair, you dare to fool around with men right out in the open? Blair turned and seeing it was me immediately threw her arms around me. You're finally here. These two keep insisting I'm their sister and they smell awful. I feel like throwing up. The male celebrities widened their eyes. I'm wearing cologne. What do you mean? Wait, what did you call him? That's Leo. The hard-to-handle heir of the Lin family, your #1 rival. Blair, have you been cursed or something? Blair glared coldly at them. Shut up, my husband is not someone you can insult. He's hard to handle because he's handsome. Someone as ugly as you is easy to deal with. Just give you a mirror and you'll scare yourself 3 times over. The male celebrity was nearly in tears. Blair was furious. Stop bothering me. I don't want to be the White Group's young lady. I want to be my husband's wife. After saying that she grabbed my hand and pulled me away. Things were getting tricky because I couldn't tell if Blair was acting or not. If she was, none of her reactions seemed fake. If she wasn't, she was playing the part too well. Especially when she kissed me and whispered those coquettish words. If she wasn't truly suffering from amnesia then she must genuinely like me, which seemed even more impossible. I took Blair to the hospital first, asking the doctor to run another brain scan. Outside the emergency building my assistant updated me. Mr. Lin, the one who signed the contract with your junior was Representative Reed from the White Group, but we can't confirm if Mr. White instructed Reed to go. Maybe Mr. White really hasn't recovered. I was frowning in deep thought when suddenly a car pulled up beside me. Young Master Lin, got a moment to chat? I hadn't expected the person seeking me out to be Blair's secret son brother named Bai Jingzong. I smiled. Your name? Just hearing it screams secret son, the emperor's new name. Bai Jingzong gritted his teeth. I heard my missing sister is in your hands. I feigned shock. Oh, your sister is missing? Bai Jingzong stared intently at me. I suspect my sister has amnesia, which is why you have her under your thumb. Young master, I know you're in it for business and I truly admire you. Why don't we cooperate? Hand my sister over to me. Once I cripple her legs, grandpa will kick her out of the group. The Bai family won't let a disabled person hold power. Besides, I'm the legitimate heir anyway. Once I secure the inheritance, I'll give you a 10% concession on the new district project for 5 years. How about it? I have to admit his offer was tempting. A businessman never has a reason to turn down profit, especially when it's handed to them on a silver platter. Still, Blair's brother didn't exactly win me over either. Soon the test results came back. Blair's condition remained unchanged with no improvement. On the way back in the car I asked Blair if she had secretly deleted my text messages. Blair held my hand affectionately, looking utterly innocent, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears, as if one more question from me would make her leap from the car to prove her innocence. Even my female assistant in the passenger seat couldn't help turning around and saying, Mr. Lin, please don't pressure her. She already said it wasn't her and the doctor just said she needs proper care. Please don't bully her. The driver chimed in, that's right Mr. Lin, Blair really loves you. Just now when you were gone for a moment she was so worried. See? It's not that I'm narcissistic these days. Blair has been so devoted to me that even my assistant and driver have started speaking up for her. I'm starting to suspect that if this goes on they'll become Blair's people. I refuse to believe that if she's really pretending she wouldn't slip up even a little. As the saying goes, everyone has their weaknesses. As one of Blair's 3 legendary rivals, I once spent a fortune investigating hers. Being afraid of horror movies or haunted houses is child's play. She could easily fake those. After much thought I decided to take her to meet someone. Julian, the man rumored to be the one Blair loved but could never have. Back in our first year of middle school, Blair would give Julian gifts every single day, even during basketball practice, which was only for boys. She, the school belle, would wait for him outside the field at night. Blair and I had been compared since we were kids back then. Thinking she was starting an early romance, I refused to fall behind and quickly got into one myself. That damn Blair actually reported me to the teacher and I ended up punished with a month of cleaning the school building. Who would have thought that in the end Blair never ended up with Julian? People came up with all sorts of theories, mostly variations on the rich girl and poor boy trope, a tragic love story. All these years Blair never had an official boyfriend, probably still waiting for Julian. At the film studio, the director and producer were both overwhelmed by the arrival of Blair and me. After all, our conglomerate was the primary investor in this TV series. Julian was especially thrilled. Blair, Mr. M.O., what brings you here? He called out my name but his eyes were glued to Blair. If there wasn't something fishy going on here, who would believe it? Before I could devise any plan, Julian proactively brought over several cups of hot coffee. I just ran out to buy these. Try them. This place makes excellent coffee. He handed one to Blair first, but she maintained an aloof, unapproachable demeanor, her pretty face icy cold. I have hands, she said. Julian froze. This sly woman really knows how to put on an act. Let's see how long you can keep it up with him around. Just as I was thinking this, Julian suddenly turned and offered the coffee to me. Instead I reached out to take it, but before my fingers could grasp the cup he abruptly twisted his wrist. sending the entire scalding contents splashing onto the back of his own hand. Before I could even decide how to react, he was already playing right into my hands. A sharp cry of pain escaped Julian's lips. Blair, who had been sitting, suddenly stood up and walked over quickly. My eyes lit up. Sure enough, she couldn't hold back any longer, but the next second Blair stopped in front of me, took my hands in hers. When the coffee had spilled earlier, some had splashed on me too. She lowered her head and gently blew on my hands, her fingertips lightly brushing over my reddened skin. Honey, does it hurt? I was taken aback for a moment and blurted out, it doesn't hurt, it's your first love who got scalded. Julian, standing nearby, immediately flared up with anger. Brother Mo, what nonsense are you talking? I've worked hard and struggled on my own to get where I am. You calling me Blair's first love? How do you think that makes others perceive me? Blair shot him a frosty glare. You struggled on your own? Someone else bought the coffee and you brought it over claiming you went to buy it. Is that your method of struggling? Julian's face flushed red. And my husband's hand signed deals worth tens of billions. Do you even know that? A single drop scalding him would be enough to bankrupt you. Julian was completely dumbfounded. Husband? I was stunned too. Does this woman even like Julian or not? She can still put up with it even at this point. What a trashy girl. To prevent Blair from saying anything more, she shouldn't. I decided to pull her away first, but just as I turned around, a petite figure suddenly rushed out from the crowd of extras. Who do you think you are? How dare you touch my Julian? The other person's prop knife stabbed toward me. By the time I realized what was happening, Blair had already wrapped her arms around me, shielding me in her embrace. The blade sliced deeply across her arm, with the By family's young mistress injured. The entire film crew was terrified. Fortunately, Blair only suffered a shallow cut on her forearm. The attacker was an extreme stalker fan of Julian's who had been hiding among the extras, planning to assault him that night. In a twist of fate, this ended up saving Julian's life. We didn't go back. Instead, we booked a room at the cruise hotel. While the doctor was bandaging Blair's wound, she kept her eyes fixed on me, insisting repeatedly that the doctor examine me too. I glared at her. Sit still and don't move. Do you want to lose your hand? Blair stretched her other arm toward me, wanting a hug from her husband. The same person who had been so cold just moments ago was now acting like a puppy, begging for affection. My gaze shifted to her blood-soaked arm, and for some reason my eyes grew inexplicably sore. The soreness made my tone even harsher in an attempt to mask it. Why did you take that knife from me? Are you stupid? What if it had hit somewhere else? Blair looked aggrieved. You're my husband, and what if I weren't? Blair suddenly fell silent, her eyes fixed intently on me. I didn't dare meet her gaze again and excused myself, citing work. Blair's sudden act of taking the knife from me completely disrupted my original plans. I felt I needed a few days to cool off. I had my assistant temporarily settle Blair in a villa in the suburbs and arranged for 2 maids to look after her. But early the next morning my assistant informed me that Blair had gone missing. Using my connections, I quickly found out that Bai Jingzong had broken into the villa and kidnapped Blair. He was now holed up with his men at an abandoned power plant in the suburbs. Bai Jingzong's words echoed in my ears. All I need is to cripple my sister's leg. My assistant reminded me, Mr. Lin, the signing ceremony with Zhongla is about to begin. If we don't leave now, we'll be late. This collaboration was something I fought hard to secure. Missing it would be a huge loss, but if I went, the image of Blair coquettishly calling me husband flashed in my mind. I didn't want to owe her anything. I clenched my fingers, released them repeatedly, then finally stood up and said, gather the team, we're heading to the abandoned power plant. When I arrived, the derelict, unfinished building was packed with people. In the center stood a tall woman in high heels, her foot planted on someone's head as she let out a low, cold laugh. Worthless, think being a man makes you special? That extra piece of equipment still doesn't measure up to me. You'd need to borrow another 5 centuries from heaven to catch up. That voice sounded oddly familiar. As I stepped inside and was about to speak, the woman turned around. It was Blair, and beneath her heel, grinding his face into the ground until it bled, was Bai Jingzong. Seeing me, Blair narrowed her beautiful eyes, smiling with a mix of mischief and allure. Husband, you made it. You're really something. Selling off the wife who sleeps with you every night to scum like this, how could you bear it? Her fearless, defiant demeanor was nothing like someone who'd lost their memory. My eyes widened as I instantly realized, so you did remember all along, and you've been lying to me. Blair looked aggrieved. How dare I lie to my husband? Didn't you say I was just a woman who cooks at home? Instead of getting angry, Blair smiled. Leo, you casually sold off the cook to someone else. It seems you want to starve for 3 days. Well, I'll grant your wish. I explained expressionlessly. I didn't sell you to Bai Jingzong, he went there on his own. Blair glared at me fiercely. Still making up stories? On the day I was at the hospital for a checkup, you were already colluding with him. So she really regained her memory at the banquet that night. The text from my junior must have been deleted by her. Blair, watch your words. Me colluding with him? I was furious, my anger boiling over. I'm not even satisfied with sleeping with women from the Bai family, let alone colluding with men from the Bai family. Do I have a screw loose? These words made Blair's face darken. She abruptly withdrew her foot from stepping on Bai Jingzong and turned to face me. I see young Master Leo enjoyed it quite a bit. Weren't there several times that night? I looked at her with utter disdain. Several times, because having you 5 times wasn't as satisfying as having someone else once. Blair's face completely darkened. She walked toward me in her high heels, and I reached out to pull off my belt. As she approached, I suddenly wrapped the belt around her wrist. She took the opportunity to wrap her arms around my neck, lowering her head to forcefully kiss me. I used the belt to strangle her and kicked her with my foot. We fought and tumbled into the tall reeds nearby. My female assistant tried to come with my people to break up the fight, but they were stopped by Blair's people. They fought outside. Blair and I fought in the reeds. After the fight, I leaned close to her ear and bit her earlobe hard while she, with her makeup smudged, bit my shoulder fiercely. Young master, it's one thing to trick me into being your wife, but to cheat on me behind my back? Is that xiaoxueme of yours really that irresistible? Your taste is just terrible. Her scolding made me furious. Junior Xia is better than you in every way. Figure face skill, my taste is rotten. I only tricked you into being my wife. Blair enraged laughed coldly and climbed on top of me. Fine, your highness want to be drained dry, huh? I bolted away in a flash. Blair shouted furiously behind me, Leo, just you wait. Tricking me into being your wife. I'm not some woman you can just sleep with and discard. I'm not done with you. Not only did Blair want to ruin me, she aimed to take down the Lin Group too. She went mad, snatching Lin Group's business. Even at a loss she wouldn't stop. A series of retaliations caught me off guard. The whole company was in chaos. Even my parents, who rarely got involved anymore, called worriedly to ask. With no other choice, I had to reconnect with Junior Xia. Fortunately, she was understanding and agreed to do her best to cooperate with the Lin Group. I packed my bags immediately and flew abroad. By the time I reached the hotel, it was already evening. Without resting, I took a quick shower and headed upstairs. At this point, I was even willing to sell my looks. Eye candy is still candy after all. Aside from Blair, everyone had always praised my handsome looks since I was young. When I went to knock on my junior's suite door, I found it open. A graceful figure sat on the sofa with her back to me, holding the cocktail. I walked in with a smile in my voice. Sorry I'm late, Junior. I took a seat on the sofa. Turning around, I met Blair's exquisitely made-up face. Startled, my hand trembled, spilling the cocktail all over myself. Blair looked coldly at me. So this is how you react when you see me? She lounged casually on the sofa, fiddling with the hem of her red dress. If it were that damn Junior of yours, you'd probably have pounced already. I glared at her angrily. Who are you insulting? Blair sneered. Xia Weiran, does it hurt? I snapped. Where did you take my Junior? Blair replied coldly, preparing hot pot. I shouted at Blair. Slamming the glass down with a thud, I stood up to leave, but Blair spoke icily. Leo, dare to take one step and try. Want to go find her? I stood still and said coldly, then why else would I stay here? To be insulted by you? Blair was furious. I'm bullying you. Who was the one who sold out his wife first? I already said it wasn't me. Blair reached out to grab my hand. I shook her off, but the movement was too forceful and I half fell against the arm of the sofa. She lunged to pull me and we both tumbled onto the couch. Her hand supported the small of my back, her pretty face icy, yet her tone was concerned. Did you get hurt? Where does it hurt? I said angrily. Don't touch me. Blair ignored me, her hand patting over my body. Seeing I wasn't visibly gasping in pain, her expression softened a little. But when her hand landed on my forehead, she frowned deeply. Why are you so hot? I kept a cold face and didn't speak, feeling like she was making fun of me. Whenever I get worked up or angry, I tend to run a fever. Blair pulled me toward the door as she said, Leo, are you stupid? I was confused. Blair, what are you doing? Blair looked worried. Seeing a doctor? Do you want to burn up into a zombie? She pinched the muscles on my chest and huffed. How come you've lost muscle? Missing your Junior so much you can't eat? I swatted her hand away. Stop touching me randomly. I'm perfectly fine. As it turned out, I was just being stubborn. Soon I was running a high fever that wouldn't break. The doctor said my immunity had dropped and I'd caught the flu. During my hospital stay abroad, it was Blair who took care of me the whole time. She didn't hire a nurse. She slept right in the hospital room and bought me meals every day. I couldn't figure out her intentions at all. What was she planning? To fatten me up before the slaughter? On the 5th day of my hospitalization, my Junior Xia Weiran said she wanted to visit me. I hadn't washed my hair in a week and kept checking myself in the mirror, trying to fluff it up in a vain attempt to create some volume. Blair stood nearby, snorting coldly. Stop looking, you're in a hospital room and still trying to seduce her. No matter how handsome a guy is, if he doesn't wash his hair, it's just a bird's nest. I sighed helplessly. How is that seduction? Blair, can't you think of something cleaner? Blair retorted disdainfully. Then why weren't you so particular when you met me? I didn't bother arguing with her, just wondering if I could chat with my Junior alone later. The hospital room door was knocked open and Summer walked in holding flowers, accompanied by her newly acquired girlfriend. Overseas is just so open, lilies blooming everywhere. Blair raised an eyebrow and couldn't help but laugh out loud. I looked at her with a puzzled expression. What's so funny? Now that she's in a relationship, it's not really appropriate for me to approach her alone to discuss business. It would be terrible if it caused any misunderstanding with her girlfriend. As soon as Summer and her girlfriend left, the smile I had forced on my face deflated. My business deal had fallen through again. I wore a crestfallen expression, feeling utterly hopeless. Blair brought over my lunch, opened the lid and placed it in front of me, setting out the spoon and chopsticks for me. I was listless and didn't want to eat. Blair took a wet wipe and cleaned my hands, snorting coldly. Do you like her that much? She's just a lily. Can't even eat because of her. Actually, I wasn't all that upset. I realized I didn't have such deep feelings for Summer during college. I just got used to calling her goddess and never changed the habit. More than anything, I just wanted to close the deal. Mind your own business, I said, stuffing a big spoonful of rice into my mouth, cheeks puffed out as I chewed. Blair reached out to remove the grain of rice from the corner of my mouth. Eat slower. Look at you. What kind of man are you? I'm not much of a man and you're laughing at me. But what about you and Julian? It's been years and you still haven't found a boyfriend. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. I truly hadn't expected Julian to be abroad too. As soon as he appeared, Blair pursed her red lips. They went outside to talk. I ate my meal in the hospital room, sneaking glances outside. In the end, I decided to slip out and eavesdrop. Would Julian seize the chance to badmouth me? Back in school, we never really got along. Julian was a master at that male green teeth act, all subtle manipulation, while I'm straightforward and had taken a few hits from him. After all, I'm in Blair's hands now. What if she sides with her first love and decides to torment me? Just as I dashed out I saw Blair and Julian standing at the corner. Julian's eyes were reddened as he whispered, "Blair, I know you haven't changed all these years." Blair had her back to me so I couldn't see her expression, but I guessed it must be all smiles. Great. Just finished mocking me and now they're flirting right here. Julian spotted me with sharp eyes. "Brother Mo, why are you hiding there? Blair and I haven't seen each other in ages, just catching up. We were planning to." I thought to myself, planning to get together. My fingers curled in my pocket. I immediately cut him off. "Oh, what a coincidence, my girlfriend is here to pick me up to return home. Feel free to do as you please, don't mind me." As soon as I finished speaking, Blair abruptly turned to look at me, her beautiful eyes wide open. "Girlfriend?" "Yeah, I started dating her not long ago. She's studying abroad here." MN. I waved my phone, ignoring Blair's gaze, and turned to leave. For some reason my nose felt a bit sore. I walked back to the ward and saw the meal on the table along with cut fruit and desserts in the fridge. All of these were prepared for me by Blair. These past few days her care for me had been nothing short of meticulous. No different from how my mother would look after me. I sat down to continue eating, but I couldn't bring myself to take another bite. My heart felt heavy. Two-timing cheater, a two-timing cheater. With her heart set on her crush, yet here she is sweet-talking me. Isn't it just dating? Who can't do that? If she's dating Julian, then I'll date too. I checked out of the hospital and flew back home that very night. The next day I went public on social media about my relationship. A young actress who just entered the entertainment industry, introduced by a friend who supposedly had a crush on me for a long time. Having been in the business world for so long, I could tell she was more interested in my family background, but it didn't matter. As long as I had money, I flaunted my relationship extravagantly on social media every day. Suddenly Blair went silent, never reaching out to me again, and even the pressure on the Lin family's business abruptly stopped. Probably too busy being lovey-dovey with Julian, I guess I lost the mood to show off my relationship and went traveling to clear my head. The young actress insisted on tagging along, saying she wanted to shop. I didn't mind, but unexpectedly I ran into Blair and Julian at the airport. Blair glanced at the young actress beside me and her pretty face instantly darkened. She put on her sunglasses and didn't even acknowledge me, avoiding suspicion, afraid Julian might get jealous, I suppose. I sneered, reaching out to straighten the little sister's collar. "Later, big brother will take you to buy a bag." It was Julian who spoke to me first. "Brother Mo, what a coincidence," Blair said coldly. "Don't talk to him." I snorted. "You think I want to talk to you?" Before the plane even took off, Blair and I were already at odds. As luck would have it, we had booked the same hotel. The little sister and I actually had 2 rooms, but afraid Blair would mock me if she saw I had her stay with me in the suite. When Blair saw us coming out of the room together, her pretty face turned even colder. While waiting for the elevator, Julian took the initiative to ask, "Brother Mo, where are you going to play today?" He looked tired, as if he hadn't rested well, probably from last night's battle with that enchantress Blair. I let out a disdainful snort and replied, "To the beach." Julian looked at me pleadingly. "How about we go together? I want to have some fun too." I nodded. "Sure, I'm fine with that." Blair didn't say a word, her face sour as if someone owed her 80 billion. Back in middle school when I had an early crush, she wore that same expression before reporting me. That incident turned us into sworn enemies. At the beach I went surfing with the little sister while Blair and Julian stayed on the shore talking. Did they really have that much to say? I kept glancing back, and in a moment of distraction I tumbled into the water. The restaurant was packed, so the 4 of us ended up sharing a table again. Blair's face was still stormy. When I asked what she wanted to order, she flat out ignored me. Fuming, I started feeding the little sister. As soon as the dishes arrived, Blair narrowed her eyes, then suddenly picked up her chopsticks to feed Julian. Julian looked horrified, almost trembling, but I was too focused on one-upping Blair to notice. For every spoonful she fed Julian, I fed the little sister too. The whole table of food, Blair and I didn't touch a bite, ended up in their stomachs. The consequence, of course, was both of them coming down with acute gastroenteritis, rushing to the emergency room that night. In the examination room, watching the little sister getting her 4 drip, I felt a bit guilty. I took out my phone and transferred 100,000 yuan to her. The little sister grinned. "Thanks, big brother. If you have any errands like this in the future, be sure to call me." I frowned. "What errands?" The little sister winked. "Annoying your girlfriend, huh? You and that older sister like each other, don't you? You should be a couple. What mutual liking?" I was stunned, my whole body feeling as if struck by electricity. My tongue tied and I stiffly said, "Who likes who? Don't talk nonsense." But the little sister said with experienced insight, "That older sister really likes you. She's been jealous the whole way. Her eyes look like she wants to kill me." I argued, "Stop saying that. She clearly has someone she likes." "That guy." The little sister laughed. "But big brother, you like that older sister too. The way you're acting now shows you like her." "I could never like her," I insisted. As soon as the words fell, a clear, sweet voice sounded from behind. "Excuse me." I abruptly turned my head and saw Blair standing at the door, her beautiful eyes fixed on me. "The police are here. They need you to give a statement." I never expected that the police Blair mentioned were here to arrest Julian. Julian was originally getting in 4 drip, but when he saw the police he didn't even bother finishing it. He eagerly walked over and held out both hands, saying, "Great, I'm being arrested. Why, take me away quickly." It's hard to imagine what Blair had done to him these days to make him so terrified. The police briefly questioned me about my encounters with Julian and Bai Jingzong. It turned out they had been colluding for a while. That day at the film studio, my arrangements for Blair's accommodation were overheard by Julian and passed on to Bai Jingzong. Bai Jingzong had committed crimes in this country and Julian was suspected of being an accomplice. So Blair brought him here, this time to assist with the investigation. After the police car left Blair and I stood at the hospital entrance, I glanced at her and said, "Hey, you're not crying, are you? After all, it's your first love crush you've held on to for so many years." Blair snorted coldly, "You're sick." I raised an eyebrow. Then you're pretty ruthless. You liked Julian for so many years. Blair looked puzzled. Who liked him? I asked. Didn't you give him things every day in middle school and wait for him to finish playing basketball at night? Shut up. Blair lifted her eyes, her beautiful gaze fixed on me. Leo, those were for you. I froze for a moment. You're trying to trick me again. You sent him so many times, Blair explained. That was because I mixed up your seats. Why else would I send all those peanut products? It's because your name is Leo and because you've loved peanuts since you were little. My brain short-circuited for a second. Wait, but what about that soccer ball? She gritted her teeth with some frustration. Wasn't your mathlete classroom also over there? I waited for you every evening wanting to give you warm milk, and what did you do? The very next day you got a girlfriend. Just like the one today. Leo, is it just that you don't like me? Her frank and direct gaze made me uncomfortable. Since we were kids, no matter what it was, she had always been the bravest one. You let me think about it. Blair stepped forward, grabbing my arm, trying to weasel out of it again. Leo, tell me clearly today. What exactly do you mean? I was confused. What do you mean? Blair gritted her teeth and said, that little girl inside on the floor drip. You don't like her, right? You didn't sleep together last night. I was startled. How do you know? Blair narrowed her eyes. Oh, so you admit it. Fine, trying to trick me into talking. I reached out and pushed her. Whether I break up or not is none of your business. What right do you have to interfere? Because I like you, Blair said, staring at me unwaveringly. Her gaze was like thick spreading magma, scorching me until I was at a loss. My hand, which had been pushing her, suddenly froze. My heart was beating so fast and my breathing felt a bit out of control. What are you saying, Blair? Are you even a woman? What woman says things like that? I stammered. I said I like you. Blair likes Leo. I've liked you for a long time. Blair suddenly rose on her tiptoes and planted a light kiss on my chin. Do you believe me now? I stubbornly insisted. No, I don't believe it. Blair reached out and wrapped her arms around my waist. I thought she was going to do something else, but then I heard her whisper softly, Leo, those other women aren't right for you. I've liked you for over 10 years. Can you give me a chance? Try me and see if I'm suitable. My mind was in a fog now. Whenever she got too close, I couldn't think straight. I pushed her away. Stay back. Blair looked at me expectantly. Answer me first. If you say yes, I won't kiss you. You're threatening me now? I glared at her only to see Blair's beautiful eyes gazing deeply at me, her tone both coquettish and tinged with loneliness. I'm afraid if you don't agree today, you'll be with someone else tomorrow. Blair wore a pitiful expression. Every time I find out you're with someone else, I feel awful. For a long time I want you to break up, but I'm also scared you will. I'm afraid that even if you do, the next one still won't be me. Leo, give me a chance, just one, okay? I opened my mouth, but all other words failed me, leaving only an awkward nasal sound. I had originally planned to keep my relationship with Blair a secret from friends for a while, but this woman turned out to be a hopeless romantic. After returning to Metro City, she directly bought all the giant light-up billboards on the tall buildings. Every single one was filled with the same line. Blair is Leo's girlfriend. Day and night they shone brightly for a full 7 days. Well, that settled it. The whole city knew. My social media feeds exploded. Everyone was saying, it seems the sun will rise from the west because Leo and Blair are actually dating. After breaking up with me, my ex-girlfriend leveraged this buzz to become an overnight internet celebrity. In her livestream, she vividly described how Blair confessed to me. Turns out that night at the hospital she was hiding and eavesdropping. Blair seemed quite pleased with her defection and even tipped her $1,000,000 under her real name. This led to the official Lin group Weibo being flooded with playful comments from netizens. Young master, give me a chance too. Make Miss Lin give me $1,000,000, okay? Every time I saw these I felt utterly mortified. Blair was practically shaming our entire family name. Even my mother called to ask what was going on between Blair and me. I stammered, just giving it a try. Mom chuckled. I watched that by family girl grow up. When she was little she always insisted on bathing with you. We used to say she wanted to be your wife. Mark my words, she'll chase you down eventually. I was speechless. So she's been a little enchantress since childhood. I initially thought transitioning from sworn rivals to intimate lovers with Blair would feel awkward, but surprisingly we got along harmoniously, whether it was about food, hobbies, or in bed. We were like two old friends who understood each other perfectly, in sync. Without a word at home, if I so much as wiggled my toes she could guess which snack I was craving. Everything fit just right except for the overly frequent bedroom activities. I continued being the young master running my company, but life grew richer and warmer. Someone cared for me, constantly looked after me. Coming home from a business trip there would be a warm cup of soy milk waiting at home, not at the forbidden to move Little Hua bookstore, and a light left on for my return. The day Blair proposed to me was actually quite sudden. We had a rare free holiday, strolling hand in hand through the supermarket as I picked out some meat, asking her whether we should have hot pot or stir fry for dinner. Blair suddenly said, Aylin, marry me. I froze, and when I turned my head Blair was already holding out a ring to me. It's always been men proposing to women, you see. Look, I've even bought the ring. All you need to do is nod and you'll get a pretty wife. Aylin, I want to have breakfast, lunch and dinner with you every day. I want to hold your hand and shop at the supermarket until we're old. I want to wake up every morning and see you first thing. I love you more than yesterday, slightly less than tomorrow. Let's get married, Blair. She lifted her face, her gaze deep and fervent as she looked at me. Our eyes met, and what we saw in each other's was not surprise but peace. The ultimate destination and definition of love is peace. I curved my lips, took the ring and knelt on one knee before her. Wear this ring for now. At the wedding I'll give you the biggest diamond in the world. Blair, thank you for being so brave, and love, you're braver than I am. How did I, Leo, ever deserve to have you? I carefully slipped the ring onto Blair's finger, feeling her hand tremble slightly. This woman who was decisive in business and unwavering in private was actually shaking at this moment. As I stood up, Blair rose on her toes, wrapped her arms around my neck and kissed my lips. Tonight I'll reward you with beef hot pot. Hearing her soft coquettish voice, I felt nothing but overwhelming happiness. The end. May you also find your own love, dear reader.